We're about to watch and react and learn from some police body cams, rescue body cams, first responder body cams. Let's get started. Huge thanks to ZipRecruiter for sponsoring this video. Pee-whoop.
It's a race against time to rescue a toddler. The 14-month-old boy has fallen down a pipe after he apparently stepped on the unsecured cover. He's trapped. A surveillance camera captures the dad running to the front yard after being alerted by his wife's screams. When first responders get there, they try to figure out their next step.
He's like 15 feet down.
15 feet down? How do you get him out? Where's that pipe going? Like, if it's a drain, why is it going 15 feet down?
The pipe is very narrow, just a foot wide, and the little guy is too young to grab the rope. Then, an amazing moment, straight out of the TV show MacGyver.
I try to make a catch pole kind of rig here.
They fashion a catch pole using a long plastic tube and some rope.
See if you can't get that around his shoulders or something.
First, they lower the ingenious gadget and then maneuver the rope around Bentley's body.
How?
It works.
Wow, that's so impressive that they literally fished him out of there.
Bentley is rushed to the hospital in his mother's embrace.
Definitely mother's embrace and potentially some imaging to rule out fractures, bones, making sure everything's safe there. Lungs.
Just look at that muddy face.
What a cutie.
The heart-pounding moment, a 12-year-old boy desperately flags down a police officer, his mother trapped in her car.
Oh my God, that's the scariest thing ever. You know, I always wondered why American cars don't, and I don't know if all countries even have them, but I have seen some countries do, where they have the emergency glass break thing, where you literally press it against the window and just shatters the glass. Because when you're underwater, the ability to open the window is drastically reduced. The pressure to even open a door is drastically reduced.
This newly released body camera video showing West Orange officer Charles Cobb running to help after 39-year-old Jonquetta Winbush had a seizure.
I actually just had a patient the other day who experienced a seizure and needed some forms filled out from the DMV. And it's important that once your seizures are under control and under the care of a neurologist, you actually have a 6-month seizure-free threshold before you get your license reinstated, because it could be quite dangerous for you to drive, not just for yourself, but for other people on the road as motorists or pedestrians just walking on the sidewalk.
The officer running to his cruiser to grab a window punch to break into the car.
There you go.
Here, I got a punch.
Yeah, why don't we have that in our cars?
The men were able to break the back window. But then the car began to sink.
And then as soon as we were opening the door, the front door, I heard I got her. And I felt like I won the lottery.
Get her up here.
The men pulling Winbush out of the water. She was unconscious, had no pulse, and was not breathing.
Instant 911, instant 2 rescue breaths, starting CPR, chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, until first responders get there.
Watch as Officer Cobb begins several frantic minutes of CPR.
I remember grabbing her hand and I could feel the pulse in her wrist.
Oh.
I really don't know how to describe it to you other than just life started coming back into her.
Oh, after starting CPR. Well, that's good. I hope they weren't feeling the pulse and then doing CPR, because you only need CPR if someone is pulseless. So if someone is kind of talking or coming to, that means that they do not need CPR.
After more than 3 weeks on a ventilator, Winbush's sister telling ABC News she is now breathing on her own and getting stronger day by day.
That's amazing. The human body has a tremendous capacity to heal. And what I tell people quite often, as my role in being their doctor, is that unlike a car, when it breaks down, you need to replace its parts, you need to make changes, you need to basically operate on the car. For a human, there are times where we do need to intervene because those parts are beyond repair. But in the majority of instances, we want your body to heal, and we want to optimize your body in that healing process.
On September 7th, 2024, Corporal Ty Simcox from the Colorado State Patrol pulled in between 2 barriers on the median of US 36, just outside of Denver. With no time to react, Simcox was shot at by the driver of this slow-moving truck.
What?
One bullet hits the dash camera, disabling it. A bullet also strikes Simcox in his right forearm. Acting quickly, Simcox calls for backup, wields his pistol, and swings behind his F-150 patrol truck for cover. However, using visual indications, the shooter appears to have pulled over roughly 75 yards down the road.
Why is this person just randomly attacking a police officer?
And reports share he continued to fire at the officer from that distance using a handgun. This prompted Simcox to run back to the inside of his vehicle to receive his rifle, which would be more accurate for shooting long distances. Notably, Simcox also flipped his sirens and lights on. This action automatically triggered the rear, dash, and body cameras to begin recording.
Is it safe that they're shooting on an active highway like that? Because remember, bullets that don't hit their target just keep going.
An apparent citizen who was driving by pulls over to assist.
I'm shot! I'm shot! What can I help you with? Hey, tighten that lamp. Yeah.
Here, the civilian helps Simcox apply a
I
tourniquet.
can't believe this is all on camera. This is wild. So yeah, putting on a tourniquet is of utmost importance to prevent him from bleeding out. And remember, you want to apply the tourniquet proximally, meaning closer and leaving the wound more distally, further away from the body. So you want to move closer to the heart, create a tourniquet there. And usually it's not enough to just tie it off. You need to create a ratchet mechanism. Sometimes you could use a stick, and there are some commercial grade ones that you could use as well.
Guy down for yes, down. My wife has got a gun. She's son of a ambush. My wife has got a gun.
The suspect lays on the ground, excessively bleeding and seemingly unconscious. Simcox's return fire hit its target. While there are plenty of rumors circulating around the shooter, now deceased 32-year-old Victor Anthony de Santiago, there are not many confirmed facts that surround his motives behind the shooting.
Yeah, wow, what an unbelievable story. The fact that this officer had the quick thinking to get the rifle and to shoot accurately without harming any passerbys. And then you have this person that's having his wife stand guard and help with the tourniquet application. Wow.
We've got a 9-year-old female who tripped and fell on an arrow, and she has the knock of the arrow sticking in her neck.
Oh my God, is that bow and arrow?
Police releasing the 911 call that came in after an arrow pierced a 9-year-old archer's neck. An incredible body cam video showing the rescue crews on the scene. It happened at Usury Park in February when the little girl slipped and fell onto the knock, which is the side opposite of the tip.
That's so scary. I mean, the neck has so many vital structures. You're thinking about the jugular vein, the carotid artery, even vital hormone structure like the thyroid gland. Plus you have the trachea in there, which allows you to bring oxygen to your lungs. So any one of those getting injured is literally a life or death moment.
Rescuers took her to Maricopa County Medical Center and she survived. Firefighters say the back end of the arrow punctured her neck, narrowly missing vital arteries.
If your carotid artery is severed, I mean, we're talking about seconds of how fast you're losing consciousness and then dying, because there's massive blood supply that goes through the carotid artery in order to supply the brain. And if that's gone, not only is the brain experiencing hypoxia, not enough blood flow, and therefore not enough oxygen, but you're also losing that blood out of your body. So just amazing that this turned out this way.
Breathing all.
Oh.
Now move. Those men were working nearby when they came across the man unconscious in his pool. HQ India 336.
You gotta keep doing the chest compressions. Chest compressions are a bit low. I'd like to move them a little bit higher.
Get my AED at the trunk.
So this is good that he's delegating like this, because in a situation that is emergent, it's easy to yell, someone get the AED, and then no one gets it. So the fact that he's nominating one person to go get it is wise. The fact that he's not stopping CPR is the most important part of this, because the CPR is circulating blood that was still within the heart. And as you're squeezing the heart by literally pushing the chest up and down, you're continuing to pump that blood throughout the body. In a situation like this, where it feels like it's drowning related, you want to give the rescue breaths in order to refill the lungs with oxygen, and then from there, being able to continue doing CPR.
A second officer races to get an automatic defibrillator to help restart the victim's heart.
What's interesting about the automatic defibrillators is that they give you all the instructions. You put them on the chest, and they literally tell you hands off, evaluating rhythm.
Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Shock advised.
They'll tell you if it's a shockable rhythm. If it is in fact a shockable rhythm, you'd want to press the shock. It'll say 1, 2, 3, clear, deliver the shock, shock given, continue CPR. And then you'd recheck ultimately if the person has recovered their pulse. Now, there are instances where someone is asystole or flatline. In those situations, the AED will actually tell you that shock is not advisable and to continue CPR because asystole is not a shockable rhythm.
They've been performing CPR for nearly 5 minutes by the time EMS arrives.
Vomiting blood right now. Possible electrocution. He was in the water. I can't tell. They don't speak English.
Electrocution? Why are we thinking that it's electrocution related? Another reason why potentially there's bleeding coming from the mouth is because when you do chest compressions, one of the unfortunate side effects of it is breaking ribs, and sometimes those ribs can penetrate and create trauma. But that is, again, you're trying to buy the person time to survive. That is a fair trade-off there.
Everyone steps back for the defibrillator to deliver its initial shock.
So basically, after the shock is done, right away you jump back on, do CPR, and then in 2 minutes you can check if there's a pulse.
The shock was a success.
Is he breathing?
Yeah, he's breathing on his own, but we're back and breathing for him.
All right, good. I did what I could, Cap. No, you didn't. Yeah.
The man was taken to a nearby hospital. Amazingly, he went on to make a full recovery. It was later determined the man had been electrocuted by a loose ground wire.
Oh my God, that is so scary because in a pool, in a body of water like that, it's gonna spread and it's gonna impact your body right away. Electrocutions are really dangerous because remember, your heart works through an electrical rhythm. And if that rhythm is thrown off, it could lead to an unstable arrhythmia. It can lead to your heart fully stopping. And as a result, it can cost one their life, in addition to burns and all the other things that come as a result of electrical shocks.
The doctors who treated the victim said without the early efforts of the officers and Good Samaritans, the man would not have survived.
For sure, CPR saves lives. Being a first responder is an incredibly intense job, and it's definitely not for everybody. Finding the right person for that career is pretty difficult. In fact, finding good people for any job can truly be a headache. But hiring doesn't have to be so hard with ZipRecruiter, who finds amazing candidates for you fast. Right now, you could try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Dr. Mike. Some people are surprised to learn that it's not just me making these videos. That's right. I may know the medicine and can appear on camera, but I've got a whole team of people to make sure the videos look like this and not like this. Shout out to the bomb editors. I've spent years looking for top talent to help me grow the channel, but with ZipRecruiter, your hiring process can be much, much easier. Immediately after posting your job, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds you the best possible candidates. From there, you can use ZipRecruiter's invite to apply feature, which lets you court the talent that is most appealing to you. Ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for, that needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at my exclusive link, ZipRecruiter.com/Dr. Mike. ZipRecruiter, the smarter way to hire. All right, back to the body cams.
Can you open your mouth?
Oh my God. Oh my God, is it a child that's choking? Back taps are the correct thing to do in a situation like this, but this is so dangerous.
Can you see the scoop?
The fact that the child is speaking is very reassuring. I would again keep the child leaning forward so that anything will fall out as opposed to fall back in.
He's talking. You okay? He's got something stuck in his throat. Can you open your mouth for me, buddy?
Given the fact that he's talking, which likely means he's able to breathe, I would not try to intervene with the object until EMS arrives for the fact that they can do an endotracheal intubation if need be, or intervene with another airway.
Spit it out if you can, okay? There it goes. There it is. There it is.
Man, that's so scary. You just gotta be a little cautious here because in a situation like that, he spit it out. You don't know if he spit all of it out, a part of it out. By picking him up, is it gonna fall back into the throat? You gotta be very careful here.
You all right? Okay.
Poor kid's just getting beat in the back, doesn't know what's going on.
Okay. Good? It was a little tomato.
You got to be aware of choking hazards for children. That's why, for example, in children that are 4 to 6 months of age, we talk about an introduction of solid foods. You always have to be careful of what is the size of the solid food that you're giving. For example, doctors talk about early introduction of allergenic foods, like peanut-based products. You're not supposed to give your child peanuts because they're a choking hazard, but giving them those peanut puffs, for example, like the Bomba snacks, that could be a way to introduce the peanut allergen to the child so that they're less likely to develop a peanut allergy. And just remember, for infants less than 7 months of age, ideally you'd soften the Bomba with a few teaspoons of water. But again, you're not giving peanuts to someone who can't control their airway well.
911, what's the address to your emergency?
Actually, I'm not at an address. Me and two of my buddies, we went kayaking on the Great Salt Lake, and then we all got separated because the wind and the waves got too intense. I just really made it to handle a file in, but I'm a far more experienced kayaker than them. I'm about positive that they probably both capsized and they're out in the water somewhere.
How many other kayakers are there?
2.
You got to be careful with this type of whitewater rapids. A, if you capsize, you can drown. B, if you're in the water, you got to be careful to not stand up, because if you stand up and you stick your foot into something where you get stuck and then the current pulls you forward, you're going to end up essentially drowning while being trapped and held down by that current. Remember, these river rock beds are very uneven, and it's very easy for your foot to get tangled in something. In addition, when you're floating, you want to keep the raft in front of you, downstream, or to the side of you, so it's never going to hit you. And you also want to essentially be floating face forward with your legs in front of you in order to brace in case there's a rock coming at you.
Rescuers had been searching for nearly 3 hours when finally they spot something in the water.
You see this?
Oh yeah, what's that? What is that?
It's like a dude in a tube.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
The kayakers had been pulling inner tubes behind them, filled with food and supplies.
It's interesting. It looks like it's pretty steady water, though.
The kayaker lost his boat and supplies. All he had left was this inner tube. 20-mile-an-hour winds created 7-foot waves on the lake, causing the kayakers to capsize.
You also want to make sure whenever you're doing these activities, helmet, life jacket, so important, will literally save your life. And not just because, like, A, you don't want to damage your head, true, but if you get knocked unconscious because you don't have a helmet, you could drown because you're unconscious.
A second kayaker was spotted and rescued a short time later. The kayakers were transported to a local hospital and treated for hypothermia and dehydration.
Oh, hypothermia really depends on how bad that hypothermia is. We have active and passive rewarming protocols. Passive meaning just giving someone a blanket. Active meaning you can give them something known as like a bear hugger, B-A-I-R, not like my bear. And it actually blows hot air underneath a blanket. And there are ways to give warmed IV fluids. There's also warm irrigations that we can do in order to speed up that rewarming process. But you can die simply because of the temperature falling too low. And dehydration goes without saying, harms your kidney, harms your cardiac system, electrolytes, all of the above start suffering when you're dehydrated. And remember, you can go multiple days in a survival setting without food, weeks potentially. Water, not so much.
It was the night of January 15th when Arapahoe County deputies descended on the Taco Bell.
What else going?
CBS News Colorado obtained sheriff's body cam video this week.
Every single employee here is being detained, and nobody is free to go.
I've never heard of cops arresting an entire Taco Bell.
It's got 3 soft tacos and a freeze. I upgrade to a freeze. They don't have it.
Restaurant workers said their drink machine was broken. The 63-year-old customer demanded free food in place of the drink. Employees initially refused, leading to a confrontation between Detloff, restaurant workers, and other customers. Sheriff's deputies were called.
So I says, just give me a bean burrito in lieu of it.
Deputies did not arrest anyone, and Detloff left with his food and with this statement.
They're going to get a lawsuit, I guarantee it.
6 hours after leaving the Taco Bell, Detloff said he ate a few bites of the restaurant food, became ill, and was hospitalized. In these newly released police reports, a poison control expert said each taco had a fatal amount of rat poison.
What? I've heard of people spitting in food, but rat poison? Warfarin? Did they give him warfarin? I wonder if it was warfarin. Warfarin, interestingly enough, is what we use to make sure patients are not forming clots. So it's a type of blood thinning medication that we use, and it needs to be very carefully administered, so much so that we have regular screenings for patients on the medication to check their INR in order to make sure that they're not getting too much or too little of the medication. Too little, they can form clots. Too much, they can bleed out. So it needs to be carefully managed. There are certain things that can impact your body's ability to metabolize or not metabolize the medication. And it used to be given in rat poison. I don't know what's the main ingredient in rat poison these days.
A manager at the restaurant initially told CBS News Colorado they had no rat traps or rat poison. But when deputies looked inside the restaurant, they found empty rat traps and outside of the building.
That's that is a rat trap, isn't it?
And then another.
And there's another.
One of the traps contained a large block of poison, according to the deputy. And there were marks on the poison, consistent with a person scraping off large chunks. Not something an animal would create, wrote the investigators. Some of the poison found at Taco Bell appeared to match that found in one of the tacos, wrote deputies. Deputies also searched Detloff's home and reported finding 2 bags of rat poison, one bag factory sealed, and while the second was open, investigators said the poison appeared different than what was found in the tacos.
Everyone has rat poison in this town. There's a rat problem going around. Wait, that's the rat poison? These giant green globs?
The Arapahoe County Sheriff ultimately closed the case, saying surveillance cameras in the restaurant cleared employees of any wrongdoing.
So how did the rat poison get into the...
Taco Bell has fully cooperated with the investigation, but to this day, still unknown how rat poison ended up in this man's food.
We need Sherlock Holmes. Oh my
This incident was captured on the skydiving instructor's helmet cam.
Oh no. Skydiving freaks me out. I could never do this. I know everyone's like, Mike, face your fear, do it for the views. I can't.
Everything seems to be going smoothly until the student jumper suddenly rolls over on his back, spinning out of control. In a nightmare scenario, the student is having an epileptic seizure.
What? In air? A seizure mid-air?
Rendering him unable to control his free fall or operate his chute. The instructor tries to catch up to the plummeting student, who has now fallen 5,000 feet in just 30 seconds. Amazingly, the instructor is able to get hold of the student's ripcord and releases the parachute.
Wow, unbelievable rescue. How clutch.
The quick-thinking instructor makes it safely to the ground, and we're happy to report that after regaining consciousness at 3,000 feet, his student landed safely as well. The student had been seizure-free for 4 years and had medical clearance to skydive.
Wow, my God. I don't know if I would ever skydive if I knew I had a seizure disorder, just on the off chance of that happening. Or I would have some sort of backup plan. You know, like someone else is able to open the chute or some kind. Although if you're in free fall like that spinning, you probably don't want to open a chute because it'll tangle in you.
It's dramatic body cam video of a deputy sheriff collapsing to the ground. He and his partner were making a drug arrest when he suddenly has trouble breathing.
Oh no.
I got you, okay? I'm not gonna let you die.
Why is he having, I mean, if he's having trouble breathing and his pulseless, we need to right away start CPR.
The deputy was believed to be suffering from an accidental overdose after being exposed to the deadly opioid fentanyl.
Oh, well, if that's true, fentanyl is an opioid medication that we use in obviously severe pain. It's 50 times stronger than heroin, 100 times stronger than morphine. It's dosed in mcg instead of mgs. You need to be really careful with the substance. It can be absorbed transdermally, but it needs to be done with a transdermal patch usually. So I'm curious how this officer was exposed to it.
I need Narcan!
So Narcan is a reversal agent that we have now, first responders have. We have it in hospitals. It's over the counter in many states, I think maybe across the United States as well, in order to be able to combat an opioid overdose, because tens of thousands of lives are lost every year in the United States due to opioid overdoses. And Narcan immediately removes the opioid in the brain, replaces it with this agent, blocks that receptor from opioid being able to bind to it, and therefore allows you to restart breathing, because that's generally what happens during an opioid overdose. You suppress the respiratory drive that much.
Fire department got there, put him on the gurney, his eyes rolled back in his head, and he started to OD again.
I don't know if this is a fentanyl overdose. It feels like there might be a seizure component here. Just because if you were given Narcan, how much fentanyl could he possibly have been exposed to?
He was ODing the whole way to the hospital.
The San Diego Sheriff's Department released the footage to warn against the dangers of fentanyl. Fortunately, the deputy survived and made a full recovery.
Is this the case that Ryan Marino and I covered, where he believes that this has nothing to do with fentanyl? I could see why he believes that, because unless there's very clear indication of why fentanyl was involved, it doesn't seem likely that fentanyl caused this situation to happen.
But now the video is being met with skepticism by some medical experts who say it is impossible to overdose on fentanyl simply through airborne exposure.
Oh, so he didn't even touch it?
Essentially 100% with surety that this was not fentanyl poisoning.
Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page.
He says the deputy's reaction was likely caused by stress.
Okay, I mean, that's also aggressive to just make a call like that. It could have been caused by stress. It could have been like a vasovagal reaction, but there could have been a whole host of other scenarios. Was he dehydrated? Did he have pre-existing medical conditions? Was his sugar out of whack? Does he have neurologic conditions like a seizure disorder? So I wouldn't just go and be one of those doctors who's like, oh, it's probably just stress. These were some amazing first responders, but here are some bad doctors caught on camera. Click here to check that out, and as always, stay happy and healthy.